All About Dinosaurs by Chapman Andrews. Illustrated by Thomas W. Voter. Narrated by Anita Saran. Chapter 11. Death of the Dinosaurs. Why did dinosaurs become extinct? We don't know. We are only sure that they did. It may have been caused by a combination of circumstances. No one of them alone would have been enough to kill all the dinosaurs. But taken together, they did the job. It happened at the end of the Cretaceous period, with dramatic suddenness, geologically speaking. Probably the most important factor was a change in physical conditions. Our modern mountain systems were not born at that time. The worldwide tropical climate of Mesozoic days was being replaced by temperate and cold areas. The hot, humid lowlands gave way to rolling uplands. Hardwood forests grew where palm and fig trees had flourished in the jungle. Of course, these changes did not take place quickly, as we conceive it. It was thousands upon thousands of years before they could be really noticed. But they continued just a little year by year. After a while, the dinosaurs began to feel it. Lakes, rivers, and marshes, where the big vegetable feeders splashed about, became smaller and smaller. It was difficult to get food enough to fill their stomachs. Their huge bodies were too big to move far. Since they couldn't change their eating habits, they died. That was fatal for the flesh-eating dinosaurs, which lived upon the vegetable feeders. They lost their food supply. Big fellows like the king of tyrants needed tons of meat to keep them alive. Even a fat duckbill would last only a meal or two. These dinosaurs were what is called too highly specialized. Their bodies had become adapted to a special kind of life and climate and food, and they couldn't live any other way. They were unable to meet the new conditions. Other reasons too may have helped the dinosaurs to become extinct. There is what is called racial senescence, which means old age of the race. The dinosaurs may have died because they were old and had reached the end of their rope. This kind of old age is sometimes shown by the production of strange forms, such for instance as some of the armored dinosaurs, with spines and projections and bumps and warts all over their bodies. Racial old age might have been responsible for the death of a few kinds of dinosaurs, but not of the whole group. Possibly, an important reason was the very small and poor brain of these great reptiles. In Stegosaurus, which must have weighed 4 or 5 tons, the brain was no larger than that of a small kitten. With such a brain, the animal could barely eat and sleep and muddle through life. The thunder lizard and the other great sauropods were not much better off in brain capacity. Near the end of the age of reptiles, the warm-blooded mammals began to appear. These were tiny little furry fellows, no larger than a rat. At the flaming cliffs, we found skulls and skeletons of 8 of these little mammals. It is quite possible that they ate the dinosaur eggs. Thus, many dinosaurs were never born. This must have happened in many parts of the world. It could be one of the causes, but only one, of why dinosaurs became extinct. Perhaps competition with the active, large-brained mammals became too great. The cold-blooded dinosaurs were too sluggish and too stupid to hold their place in nature. Still, one would think that some dinosaurs might have survived, that the smaller forms could have adapted themselves to changing conditions. But they did not. Another question: Why did the great marine reptiles like the mosasaurs, plesiosaurs, and ichthyosaurs die with the dinosaurs? They had existed in many seas that did not dry up. Why would they not continue to live in the water as well as our present day whales? But they all disappeared at the end of the age of reptiles. So did the pterodactyls, the flying dragons. We can only guess why this happened. The life cycle of all animals seems to be determined by nature. When they have lived their allotted span, they die. Dinosaurs were the biggest, the most fantastic, and the most terrible creatures that ever walked the earth. They reached majestic heights, but the only record that they ever lived at all is in their bones enclosed in the enduring rock.